Our fellow Pinkos and comrades, welcome to Malt Liquor Socialists. I'm your host, Mr. Kieffer, and today I'm joined by a man of capable, of just impeccable strategizing, Mr. Morgan.
Wow.
I butchered that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get through it.
So this is going to be a follow-up for our Monday episode released on December 29th. Today, we are going to be interviewing a journalist and owner of the Grants Pass Tribune, John Oliver Rico. Good morning, John.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So as we normally do with interviews, we prepped questions ahead of time, and we have provided those questions to John. We expect that there will probably be some improvised questions as we go along, but the point is not to turn the interview into an ambush. So without further ado, let's get into this. So first, there's going to be some more pointed questions we're going to be asking, and I don't mean pointed like jabbing at you, just pointed like to recent points. But first,
right.
I want to get to know you a little bit better. And so I have some general questions. What did you do before you got into journalism?
Well, that's a great question, and it could be a loaded question. How far back do you guys want me to go? I'm actually in my 50s now, so I'm a little bit older than most people think. But let's just go back. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So I joined the U.S. Marine Corps during the first Gulf War. And then from there, I had always wanted to be a police officer myself. So I started testing for departments across the nation and ended up getting recruited to work with the U.S. Army and the Marines on a special task force for methamphetamines. So it was a narcotics task force in Phoenix, Arizona, and I worked undercover there for many years. And from there, I went on to become a bodyguard, so to speak, and bodyguarded the ex-Vice President Dan Quayle for a couple of years, and that led me to my publishing career. I then was the bodyguard for a gentleman by the name of Robert Tisch, and he owned a company called Virgo Publishing. And that is where I launched my very first magazine back in 1999 with Virgo Publishing. I had bodyguarded Bob in 1997 and presented the idea of loss prevention and security journal, and he loved it, and the rest is history. Now this is where I'm at.
Nice. So out of curiosity, so that explains the how you kind of got into journalism. Was there anything specific that drew you to that field?
Journalism itself? Mm-hmm. I've been writing my entire life, so I don't know if I think of journalism as a field. I think of it more as a passion. I think my first article, it was a poem, was published in 1983 or 84.
Wow, I was one.
And what's that?
I was one at the time. One? That's awesome.
We were toddlers.
Yeah, I wasn't one, but I think I was 12.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was a little younger. But anyway, so I never thought of journalism as journalism. I thought of writing as writing, and I used it as expression. I write to get out my frustrations a lot of times. So to speak, like journaling, how a lot of people do that. That has always just been a passion of mine. So as far as journalism goes, I guess I've always just thought of it as a passion more than journalism.
That's awesome. How about what prompted you to start the Grants Pass Tribune?
That's a pretty easy question to answer, actually. And it's the failure of the Daily Courier.
Okay.
They just have not been a newspaper that I thought was worthy of being paid for to be read. The majority of their stories are AP, Associated Press. And so the few local stories that they do have, they do them, well, but the local politics and local corruption, they've stayed out of. and they've omitted more than they should have. And so where that failure is where we filled in the gap.
Okay. So would you say you started the paper because of, basically the softball questions that the Courier would be putting out, or just not questioning people when they should have been?
Well, actually, the Grants Pass Tribune was started as a beta test. So I wanted this to be a community newspaper, and I actually thought that that's where they were failing first. Like the community, they weren't interviewing local businesses or people. They were only focused on the people that were advertising and paying them money.
Got you.
So let me re-clarify that.
Okay.
As well as the political aspect, they didn't report on that at all.
Okay.
So, where those failures were, I don't think, just based on what I've seen by going back and doing research, they did report on it about a decade ago.
Okay.
And then it seems like they got scared.
I got you.
And I know why they're scared. And I've had internal conversations with the owner of the Courier, and I know exactly why they're not reporting what they don't report. So I just chose to not be afraid.
Yeah, that's fair. I like it. And something I've noticed, I subscribe to the Daily Courier just because I've noticed they're doing a little bit more local news, and the local news is really the only stuff they put out that I pay attention to. They seem to be doing more in politics. I'm wondering if that's kind of like an after effect of, okay, well, we have this other paper, this Tribune, so to speak, and they're reporting more on some of this local political stuff. And, well, geez, that's getting clicks, that's getting views. Maybe we should be doing more of that too, because they still don't do nearly as much local politics as the Grants Pass Tribune. But I noticed they're doing a little bit more in the last year than they did in years prior.
Yes, they have been. And perhaps maybe we've just cleared a little bit of the path for them because I'm getting the brunt of the lawsuits and the attention. So they probably feel safe now that they can cover this. I don't know, but I'm glad that they are covering more because it only reaffirms and validates what we've been talking about and what we've actually been providing evidence on. I mean, so many people want us to provide them every step of the procedure. We can't do that. We'd lose everybody's attention. So when they read the paper, it's their responsibility as well to do their own due diligence.
Okay. What was your first interaction with Chris as a journalist?
Well, he actually was an advertiser with me. Chris called me to advertise in the Grants Pass magazine. If you guys remember that. We also were publishers of Grants Pass magazine, which it's still up online, but it hasn't been pursued in 2 years now because of Mr. Barnett and what his actions have done by calling all of our advertisers and telling them to stop advertising with us. So he had called to advertise in the magazine, and it was the exact same time that the newspaper was launching when he was ramping up his campaign to run for commissioner. And so I informed him about the newspaper itself, and he's like, oh, that sounds like a better avenue. And since it was a weekly publication and not bi-monthly, or I'm sorry, we were actually quarterly, he would have more exposure. So he went with the route of advertising with the newspaper, and he could deny this all he wants. I have his contract signed, sealed, and delivered with his handwriting all over it, changing a bunch of different things many times. So if he wants us to produce that and put it up on Facebook, we will, because I'm tired of him just lying blatantly. And so that was the first occurrence that I had with Mr. Barnett, is when he bought advertising with me. And then he wanted to write stories for himself to promote his campaign, which, as I tell everybody, this newspaper is for the people, by the people. Everybody can write, and we will publish it. Even right now, if John West wrote a story and sent it in, 100% I'd publish it. I might edit it for grammar, but I will publish it. So I don't care what anybody tells the public that doesn't listen to my side or me, I will publish everything I get. 100%. No matter who writes it, and no matter if I agree with it or not. 6th Street. Andy Beta was there. He can actually vouch that the meeting took place. Not only did I meet with Commissioner Barnett to interview him, I donated 5 sport coats to Mr. Barnett that day of mine, because I used to be a Husky child. And I had lost a lot of weight, so I thought, I'm not going to use these sport coats anymore. This guy's running for office. About $2,000 in sport coats. So I did. I gave those to Mr. Barnett. That was in good faith and a kind gesture of mine. And if he denies that, I'd love to know. So going into the interview, the first question, this is the day that John West had donated $4,000 to his campaign. Do you guys remember this story?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me go back a little bit. One thing we forgot to cover, I guess, in my history while and before in the Marines, I went through 2 different schools for interview and interrogation, and I'm certified in interview and interrogation, and that was primarily my job for 2 decades. So now I'm sitting face to face with Commissioner Hopeful at the time, Barnett, and I ask him the question, can you please tell me about the $4,000 deposit to your account from Commissioner John West?
Pretty basic question.
Right. Yeah, well, and I was facing the recall. So it was the question that we thought everybody would want to know the answer to. Commissioner Barnett's answer to me, point blank, I didn't even know about that.
What?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't know about $4,000 being put into your campaign account? You know about everything else, but you didn't know about that?
From a current sitting commissioner.
Yeah.
That's lie number 1. That just set off the red flag right there. I mean, he could have just said anything else. That answer that he chose was not even just deceptive. It was a flat-out lie. So he screwed up from the get-go. So we go into the rest of the questions, and I believe that story is probably one of the first stories that was written where he started to get upset. But I said, I can't lie, Chris. We're an unbiased newspaper. If you don't like the way I write, then you are welcome to write a rebuttal. And there are emails that I have sent to him many times offering him to write his own rebuttal. He does not. Instead, what does he do? Creates his own newspapers with names just like mine and attacks me. That was the way he went about it. And then he proceeded to tell Colleen Martin at the time that he had to sue me. He had to sue me to stop me from what I was doing. So that's why he sued me. Because I was telling the truth, and he couldn't have that. And then when we found out about the elder abuse case, and that got reported, which we all know was true, but he said I made it up.
Oh, God.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, I mean, you don't need an education in interview and interrogation to figure that one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of also answers the next question. When did you see a pattern of behavior that Chris exhibits
Immediately.
today?
Immediately.
That's, okay. Well, there was a lawsuit against you from Chris earlier this year or later last year. I don't remember exactly when it started, but it did have to do with
November of 2024 is when he filed his first defamation case against me.
Okay, and that resulted, if I'm correct, in a default judgment, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So
yes.
Can you explain, like what the lawsuit was about and how it came to that default judgment? Because that's something that we've never been entirely clear on, especially like how it came to the default judgment.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll give you guys the easy, short version of this. The lawsuit itself that was filed by Barnett, hopefully I don't want to go over the whole thing verbatim, but it was a joke, and it was seemed like it was written by a fifth grader. It said that I used false names and that I lied and that the elder abuse case wasn't real, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, the whole lawsuit was bullshit. Can I say bullshit on your show?
Yeah, dude, if you've listened to our podcast, we do not shy away from adult language. So yeah, you're in free territory.
All right. So it was bullshit. So anyway, to cut through the rest of that, I looked for an attorney here in Oregon for months. Couldn't find one. Finally found one in Arizona. So I flew to Arizona to meet with my attorney the same week that this apparent default judgment, May of this year, was found against me. I had not received any notification, nothing. The attorney had received no notification, nothing. So I was in Arizona when this happened, and then I asked this attorney of mine to appeal that and send paperwork in. She then never did. Now, here's where there's a gray area. I have not discovered, nor can I prove if she was paid off by another party or if she's just a really bad lawyer. Either way, she failed me, and that's how the default judgment was found here, because by the time I got back to Oregon, it was already done. Now, I have appealed it since. The court said that that was not an acceptable reason, so now I'm sorry. I didn't appeal it. I asked for a motion to have it set aside, and that did not work. So now, without an attorney still, I still have not been able to find an attorney here in Oregon, and I've called at least 90. So if there are any attorneys listening to this, please, I need your help. I have to now put a motion in for appeal on both Chris and John West. They're both pretty much identical in verbiage and verbatim. They're written by fifth graders. Okay. So the reason that these judgments were found against me were strictly because I didn't show up. It was procedural. And if I would have known about it, I was there for everything else. Also found out that somebody changed my phone number in the county court log system. So I was no longer getting the text either. So my number was right until May. And then somebody went in that system and changed my area code from 704 to 709. Who do you think has access to that system? Oh, it wasn't weird. This was all by design.
Oh, yeah, no.
All the court documents were sent to addresses, not mine. Yeah. None of my addresses were none of them. Yeah. They were all around me, but not my house.
Yeah, no, when I say weird, I don't mean weird like, how odd. I mean weird like, zoink, Scoob, that's really suspicious weird.
Yes, and we have all of the documents that have all these weird addresses, but yet I still have to go through the appeal. But just know this. Once I do go through the appeal, I will ask for a jury trial for these gentlemen to go ahead and plead their case, because I do have all this evidence. I've never lied. And it'll just make them look stupid.
Okay.
And then I'll put that other lawsuit back on them after they lose.
Well, that's something I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And I don't really have, I'm not terribly concerned about, this is going to be like, when this gets to court, you're going to have a really hard time with this. Because, I mean, what was it? West took the petition for him to get removed to court. And that's something that still cracks us up, because you get all these people who are supporters of West, supporters of Barnett, who will say, oh, yeah, no, West got it disproved in court. All of those allegations on the petition were false. It's like, no, he took it to court. And
he lost.
Yeah, 5 out of 6 of them, the judge said, okay, these are their factual or their opinion. You can't sue in the last one. I'm not ruling either way, because neither side made a case good enough to support one way or the other. And it's like, he basically paid a lawyer thousands of dollars to look like an idiot.
Yes, and he continues to do so. And everything that he sued me for, he has contradicted himself on video recordings.
Oh, Lord.
So I can't wait to go to court for him either.
That'll be interesting. So, geez, that's a lot of information. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I just, I sit over here. I'm basically just a big rage monster on this podcast. So during interviews, I kind of take a back seat. But the question that comes to my mind, and I know that I know nothing, so maybe you can answer this better. Why was it so hard to find a lawyer in Oregon?
That's a great question, actually, and I don't know if I could speculate a little on a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I know for sure is around here, what they did, Barnett and his little cabal, was they called around Medford, Ashland, and they tied up all the attorneys around here locally.
They blacklisted you.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, and the local attorneys that they didn't have conflict of interest with were too afraid to take the case because they have businesses here and they don't want to be retaliated on. And they told me that point blank. They don't want the retaliation.
Interesting.
So now the other attorneys that were outside of the area, like in Portland, I did speak to one gentleman who wanted $10,000 for 2 pieces of documentation and had no interest in hearing anything emotional about what I felt. And I said, you're not for me, dude. So the problem with finding an attorney around the area also is the scope of what the case involves, and that's First Amendment, anti-SLAPP, freedom of right. I mean, it's a mess, right?
Right.
It's a messy case. A lot of attorneys aren't versed in this. So you need a special attorney, and they're not cheap. And if you can even find one,
right.
And I want one who is emotionally invested in my cause, not in my wallet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
fair enough. Yeah.
So I will continue to hunt and I will continue to appeal. I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to pay. I'd rather sit in jail than pay those men a dime. And this is on record.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I want to move on to kind of like the next topic, which in all fairness is these other topics are also related. So regarding a more recent development, the first I want to ask about is the traffic incident that you had with Chris on December 22nd. And I caught some of the broad details in a recall petition signal chat. I recall you posted stuff about that. But can you paint us a picture of what happened?
Yeah. I'm still dumbfounded by this whole thing, and it actually still kind of freaks me out, and I haven't really left the house since. So it was December 22nd. We haven't had any sunshine, right? In weeks?
Right.
So there was a brief break where the sun came out, and I decided that I have a little Porsche 911 convertible. So I wanted to roll my car around. It hadn't been taken out in about a month. So I went out to go get laundry detergent and weed. And as I was driving along, I first stopped at Dollar General, got my laundry detergent up on Redwood Ave. Went around and went up to Desmarais, went up to Zuni's farm stand and got some cannabis. And as I was coming back down, merging back onto Redwood Highway, the first light there, I merged on, and there was a DPS officer with a traffic stop already right there. So I know I wasn't speeding.
Okay.
And I stopped at the light, and then I proceeded when the light turned green. And all of a sudden, I noticed a car zigging and zagging behind me, and it was weird. But when you drive a car like that, you expect teenagers or people want to race all the time, right?
Okay,
so,
yeah.
So it's not uncommon. Well, then this car was getting very close to my bumper, and it's completely wrapped. It was blue and yellow. So I'm like, is this some new cop that I don't know of? He rode my bumper for some time, and then he moved over to my driver's side, and I thought, okay, he just wants to race or he's going to pass me. He didn't pass, and he didn't want to race. He just sat there. As I looked over, I see Commissioner Barnett with not a phone, but a tablet, filming me and screaming at me with his windows up, so I have no idea what he's saying. Just being honestly, scary he looked scary.
Sure.
And so I politely gave him the finger and accelerated and moved on with my life and took off at Allen Creek Road right there. So he couldn't turn. There was too much traffic, I'm guessing. And I immediately called Grants Pass Police after that happened and reported it to the detective that I've been working with. And because it happened on Redwood Highway, it actually falls under the OSP jurisdiction. So I wrote up a statement and then took it into OSP the next day. So Christmas Eve, I reported it to them. And then that same day, I went to the courts and filed for a harassment and temporary restraining order of stalking against Commissioner Barnett, because that incident alone, compiled with all the other stuff before, is just showing a pattern of escalation that I really feel unsafe. He had crazy eye. So I don't know what the dude's problem is or what his obsession is with me, but there's absolutely no reason to be chasing me down. No. Nor did I knew he knew about my cars that I drive. Like, I mean, I don't display this car. I don't drive it to business meetings. So is he tracking me? Is he following? I mean, what the fuck? It's creepy. It's just creepy.
Yeah. Well, it shows childish behavior that, I mean, you didn't have to prove to me that he shouldn't be a commissioner, but you know, if he's doing that kind of bullshit, then, you know, what the fuck is he doing making decisions for, you know, the county?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all adults here.
Right.
I don't think I've ever in my life, even as a young adult, done that.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
To anyone. For any reason.
Yeah. You know, and I say it a lot, you know, on here where, you know, he's just trying to be a social media star. And what you describe sounds like a social media star trying to, like, you know, drum up likes and, you know, subscribes. You know, that's not.
Well, I felt more intimidated, like,
right.
More than anything else. Like, what did he anticipate to get out of filming me driving my car? Right.
No, I totally agree with you on that. There's definitely that going on.
Yeah.
You know, but if he's filming you too, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know, he's got all this social media fucking bullshit. What is he doing with it?
It's like our local Snooki meets Gestapo.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Maybe he's got some type of weird fetish, and that's for his spank bank. I don't know.
So
yeah, I really can't speculate. Don't quote me on that as being factual. That is solely of opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time.
I mean, if I'm going to get sued again, I want to get sued for something I really mean.
No, we're just speculating here.
Yeah. So, let's see. Next on this, do you know of anyone else who has had a similar experience with Chris's potentially violent driving behavior?
Driving behavior? No. Unhinged behavior? Yes. There's been a few people that have actually. There's been a few people that have emailed me, told me to be careful since that incident. But as far as anybody else has come forward and said that he's done anything similar, no. But I know that when I am ready for court, I have at least a dozen character witnesses to his behavior.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. Huh. All right. Okay. Can you explain, to my understanding, you're going to be going to the courthouse on Monday, the 29th, and that's going to be like 2 days before this episode airs. But can you explain why you're going to that courthouse on Monday?
Yes, that's for the temporary restraining order for harassment of stalking.
Okay. And
so after the incident of the driving and the prior incident, which is now filed in public record in reference to coercion, Mr. Barnett attempted to have a person of relation, or what would we call this? Not relation. An acquaintance file a false police report. And so coercion also fell under the same statutes for stalking and harassment. So I combine these two together because it's showing a pattern of escalation right now.
Okay. So, as disturbing as Chris's behavior was on the 22nd, the most disturbing developments seem to be about about these criminal allegations against Chris. And you kind of mentioned one of the things I believe that's on there. But we understand there are questions about this that you can't answer due to ongoing investigations. But I still want to try to ask a couple of questions. So Chris has been implicated in publishing numerous hit pieces against you and other journalistic sources. You've kind of hinted a little bit at it, but he puts out a lot of crap, and I mean a lot of crap. What are your suspicions for how he produces so much crap so quickly?
Oh, he's using Grammarly.
Okay.
AI.
Yeah, that's fair.
And his stories are the same story over and over and over and over again,
Right.
just regurgitated through a different command. It's the same story, just rewritten differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah. So I'm curious because I catch some of his stuff using an alternative Facebook page because my main Facebook page is blocked from him, which.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, go figure. Also, I'm not sure it's quite legal because he's a political official. So if he's posting political crap on his personal pages, that makes them political pages. And I don't think you're technically allowed to block people. But anyways.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Do we
its
really
own.
want to jump down that rabbit
No,
hole again?
God, please, God, no.
No.
I mean, if the ethics board isn't going to do anything about it, who will?
Right.
Yeah, and I whine about that so often. But one of the things I'm curious about too is he seems to get on a lot of his social media, in air quotes, news outlets. He seems to get a lot of other people who post the same stuff. And I'm wondering, I think some of these might be actual people, but are they just maybe doing the same thing he's doing? Or are they going, hey, I can post this for you, and it's AI slop, but they just shove it up there? Do you think that's something he might be doing?
Honestly, I don't know. He has us blocked as well from everything, so I can't see. The only time I see anything defamatory is when somebody sends it to me in a text message or an email.
Jeez.
Fair. And I apologize. That was a bit of a leading question.
So I have no clue what he posts about me or Jay or anybody else or all of the stuff he's blocked us from.
Okay.
Great.
So, all right. So let's see. You have an affidavit that Chris reached out to someone, and you kind of started mentioning this, who is temporarily living with you to bribe that person to make false allegations against you. How is it that you learned that Chris was doing this?
Well, that person came to me because she knew that what that request was immoral, and she would not do such a thing. So she came to me and told me what was happening and showed me, not just came to me to tell me this was happening. I now have in my possession all of the messages between her and Chris and my ex and her to put this entire thing into action. So the plan was to have me arrested for sexual assault, rape, whatever they could think of, to defame me and to destroy my credibility. And for this, in exchange, she was offered several different items to include a position within the county. And so this was reported to the district attorney first, 45 days ago. He then instructed me how to handle it. And after that, that's all I can say.
Absolutely fair. I just, wow. So messages, there is a
400 messages and emails. 400.
What?
At least 400.
What the fuck?
It was a whole flash drive.
I'm sorry.
And they're all in my possession. So I love that Mr. Barnett thinks he can be really ballsy right now. And I got a cease and desist from him this morning.
What?
God damn it.
For telling the truth.
Good God.
So I instructed him to take it back to court.
Nice.
Wow. I'm sorry. That's just the whole idea that it's like literally hundreds of they did it something that was documentable for this.
Uh-huh.
And all of them have his picture up in the left-hand corner. So it's not like he can say it's fake.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everything was done through Messenger.
This is a criminal enterprise of idiocracy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. How do you think, given Chris's behavior towards you and towards those who are critical of him in general, so how do you think Chris will behave if he is successfully recalled from the commissioner position?
Well, he's going to become unglued. He's going to become unhinged.
Uh-huh.
He'll sue everybody. He'll sue all the recall petitioners. He'll do the same thing John West did, and he'll probably use John's money because he doesn't have any. I mean, he's probably going broke right now with everything he's going through. Yeah, he's going to make a mockery of this.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah, I could see that.
So same question as before, both a slight modification. If Chris is proven guilty of criminal behavior that's alleged against him, how do you think he's going to react to that, other than potentially going to jail?
Let's hope he goes to jail, because if not, they better take his weapons away, because he'll become a dangerous man.
Ooh, yikes.
And that's another reason why I'm petitioning for this restraining order tomorrow. I mean, we've heard about we don't know if they're true. It's all hearsay so far, but nobody drops their gun that many times without being, that's just too many stories.
Right.
I mean, he's banned currently from what town?
Oh,
Lakeside.
Yes.
Lakeside, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, for being threatening with his firearm, and that video was hard to watch.
That was something.
All right, so we're down to our last question, at least our last planned one. So, what concerns do you have, if any, about Chris's potentially doing something violent if things continue to not go his way?
I don't know. I really can't speak on that.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't, for everybody's sake and for his own. I really think that there's something fractured mentally with him right now, and I hope he gets help. Seriously, because there's something just not right. I mean, we can all see it. I'm not just making this up.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's clear as day when he goes off on his tangents and rages at the end of every WBS meeting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know if he maybe is suffering from high blood pressure, hypertension, or something, but perhaps he should seek some medical attention.
Yeah.
But hopefully he won't snap or freak out, but I don't know. I think everybody should be on alert for sure.
Yeah, no, he's it's interesting because one of the things we've noted quite frequently when watching those county commissioner meetings, Chris has a thin veneer of toxic positivity about him. And whenever it's always, I don't want to hear about the bad or the negative. I just want to hear about the good. And it's like, oh, tough. That's your job. Your job is to hear about the negative and the good, and you have to deal with both. And it's very interesting because when he does not have enough cheerleaders in the audience for him, that's when that thin veneer wears down, and it is just the most bizarre temper tantrum from an adult you have seen from not ever, but the most bizarre you've seen from somebody in like a local government position. It's weird.
Right. I don't think he understands the position he's in at all. I don't think he understands civics.
Oh, hard agree.
Yeah.
So I just don't think he needs to feel, or he doesn't feel that acting like an adult or a leader applies to him, because he clearly lives in a delusional world.
It's the Chris Barnett show.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've seen it. I mean, before the recall, he was a little unhinged, and since the recall has gone down, I've seen him just going down this spiral, and it kind of speaks to what you've been saying. Like he goes unhinged.
Yeah. again, dumbfounded. It's
Yep.
just the only thing I can say right now. It's,
Yep.
like, there's just no explanation for it. There never has been, but right now,
Sure.
it's just, I take no pleasure in writing any of these stories. In fact, they're driving me insane. I would much rather be writing about anything else, like snowfall, anything
Sure.
else besides this. This is tough on the brain cell.
Right.
Well, Mr. Morgan, do you have any last minute follow up questions?
Oh gosh. No, I've found this to be a very interesting and illuminating conversation, and I'm glad you could be on the show today.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, and yeah, I'm an open book. Nothing to hide and nothing to lie about.
Sweet.
Excellent. Well, John, as Mr. Morgan has already implied, thank you very much for coming on the show. It has been a pleasure having you. Before we end this, is there any last minute things you want to say pertaining to either what we've covered today or anything about the recall?
Yeah, about the recall, as you guys know, I had no participation whatsoever in this year's or this recall, as I've been accused of. You guys or the recall committee never even advertised with us. So I find it very curious and interesting that I get blamed for recalls when I'm just a newspaper. We're just a reporter of the news. The Courier reports on the recall too. Does that mean they had something to do with it? I mean, that ridiculousness right there, I wanted to set the record straight. I had nothing to do with the recall.
Fair enough.
Yeah, totally fair. All right. Well, John, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And we hope that this, the whole issue with the lawsuits and such, we hope that goes well for you.
Yes.
Because honestly, it's not just a matter of it going well for you, although we do hope it does, but he needs to have consequences.
Yep.
And
it's that and justice for the First Amendment. I mean, right now, I can't even believe that this has even happened. The violation of my First Amendment rights. Wow.
it's insane.
Right. Yeah.
So there's more to that than meets the eye, of course, but we'll get into that with the county later.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank
All
you.
right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for having me on as well.
All right. Have a wonderful day today.
You guys take care.
Bye.
Yep.
All right. Well, that concludes our second part to this week's topic.
Wow.
If you are a Josephine County resident who can vote and you have not voted in the recall election yet, please fill out your ballot and turn
Please
it in.
do. Good God.
We hope that you will be voting yes to recall Commissioner Chris. Mr. Morgan, before we close out,
Yes.
do you have any last minute stuff on our episode?
No, I've definitely got a lot to chew over. Chew on. Chew over? Chew on.
Chew on.
Chew on.
Yeah. So excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to our podcast. If you have any suggestions, ideas, or local Southern Oregon topics you would like to hear us talk about, please be sure to email them to maltliquorsocialists.com. And you can also find us on our Facebook page, Malt Liquor Socialists.
We have a .com?